So what, just to kind of give an introduction, what Andre and I are doing is we're having a little accountability study group, if you will. So the idea is that we get together, we share different ideas. We have basically like a weekly commitment, huh, Andre? That we say that we want to accomplish, right? Yeah. And the whole idea here is that he and I can help each other just get better, whatever that might be. That's for the week, right? So that way we can just stay committed 7 days a week. So why don't you introduce yourself, Andre? Just as another kind of recap, maybe like a little 1 minute. Hey, this is who you are. Unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. So I'm just gonna recap that just because I got the Instagram live and I have you on headphones so that way they can't hear. So for those of you that are joining on Instagram live, Andre and I we have a little study group here, and he was introducing himself. He's from Colombia, Andres Escobar. Not affiliated with the cartel, which can be a fortunate or unfortunate thing, right? The cartels have some really deep pockets, right, Andres? Right? There's a lot of dough there. It's not clean money, but just so you're aware. And then he's really in the sales marketing arena, and he and I basically connected really through Instagram, right, Andreas? And then he and I decided, hey, let's get together, let's have a conversation, and see if we can help each other stay accountable for different goals that we're having from a business perspective. Or from personal. So we just said, hey, let's just meet up weekly and kind of connect. And we thought it'd be a lot of fun to be able to use BeLive, which I will show you guys here. It allows us to broadcast actually through Facebook Live, and then if you were to go to our Facebook feed, you would see our faces basically side by side in kind of an interview process. So it's just a lot of fun. All right. So should we just continue with the agenda here that we have? Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, sounds great. Let's do it. Yep. Yep. I will. So let's see. Show. So what I'm doing here is I'm just copying and pasting it in here. Stay hydrated, Andre. Okay, so the first question that we wanted to talk about was a little bit about time management. So, what are your time wasters? So we'll have you hit this one first, Andreas.
Sure, I'll attack that one. My time wasters consistently has been YouTube. It's just, you know, different times of the day. And it's funny, we actually qualified what is a time waster, right? And a time waster is something that Sherman
Uh-oh, I think we froze. We're frozen at the moment. Better I can follow. Thanks. Huh. Uh-oh. he just left, so we'll wait for him to connect back. My guess is he's doing it from his phone, so I guess I'd put it then to the group here on Instagram while he's logging back in. What are your time wasters during your day? What gets in the way? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well. Thanks, Alex, for asking. Because I find that oftentimes. Oh, there we are.
Hey,
Andreas, we're back, buddy.
I'm here. Let me plug up.
No worries, no
Can you
worries.
see me?
Yeah, we see ya. All right, there we go.
That is connected.
So it should be looking sharp here. So,
Are you there?
yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
How about now, Andreas? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah. Technical difficulties. Yep. The downside of the app, man. you, you can give him some feedback. No problem, no problem. So while you're getting set up, Andreas, why don't I just talk about what I feel are time wasters, right, for the day for me, and that way we can continue to move forward. So one of the things that I think a lot of times people struggle with when it comes to time wasters is email, right? We get inundated with so much email now, and the weird thing about it is that because there's so much email that's coming in, that we end up not even really reading all the emails. I think oftentimes we end up subscribing to stuff just because we enrolled online on something, and now they're sending us all this, the subscriptions, and so unsubscribing can be a really good way to control that email box. The other thing is I don't play the game of like trying to get to like 0 unread messages, and nor do I play the game of trying to get to an empty, clean email box. So right now, work-wise, let me see. I literally have 724 unread emails, because for me, email is not necessarily an urgent message. It's basically something that somebody's telling me FYI that I can basically get to in the next 24 to 48 hours. Where for other people, and then if they need to get a hold of me, they call me on my cell phone. But what about you, Andre? What do you think are some of your daily time wasters? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. 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 Definitely. Right. Right. So definitely like understanding the that just because we have, let's say, newsletters that go out from an email digital platform, when people unsubscribe, even let's say our mom or our best friend, it's not insulting. It's just that they don't want to be inundated with more email, and that's okay. It's just I find email campaigns from a business perspective, they're more like just touch points, right? It's kind of like a tickler. Hey, I'm constantly in front of you on a monthly or quarterly basis. I don't want you to forget about me. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. What else were you saying before you got cut off about some of the time wasters in your day? Yeah. 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 That, like, right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you bring up a really good point about like YouTube and taking advantage of your drive time and doing some audiobooks, because it definitely we can learn ourselves to being unproductive, right? So if we're constantly reading or watching videos online, and they can be really useful, right? They could be how tos, but the downside of that is at some point we got to do, right? We got to get out and we got to do things that are actually going to move things forward on our day. And that's where I find sometimes it can be really distracting for people when they aren't kind of taking inventory of what's actually driving, right? So for example, if you and I, Andres, if we decided to start a car company, the end result is we have to have a certain amount of cars produced each day. So the inputs that we put in, just because we bought a ton of inventory of steel, doesn't mean that we're productive. It's just like oftentimes people are like, oh, well, I created a ton of videos today. Well, how many subscribers do you have? I have 2. Well, then you weren't really productive because you could have had a better conversation engaging with those 2 people one on one. So maybe you create one video or 2 videos and then you make a bunch of phone calls, shoot out a bunch of emails, get more people to be engaged with. I know in my business, client building business, it's always based on face-to-face meetings. The more meetings that you have, the more that you're gonna be successful. It's you can't get around that, right? Someone can't like scale it and be like, oh, I had 2 meetings this weekend and I'm crushing it. It just doesn't happen that way. You might scale it. You might skate by one week and have a really good sale with someone, but the average of large numbers are eventually going to catch up with you. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you. Thanks, man. Yeah. And so, a lot oftentimes, then, how do you, as you look at your day, Andreas, right, when you come into it, how do you prioritize what is then kind of from your from yeah? How do you know what's a priority? Okay. 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 So for you, you basically take a role perspective, right? So faith being the most important, that you're a son of God, and then number two, then that you're a husband. Number three, you're a father, and then fourth, then comes your business, your career, and so you prioritize your day based on those four different roles. Oh, self. Okay. Yep. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's that old adage of the oxygen, right? If you're on the airplane, right, and oxygen falls down, you need to be conscious in order to help somebody else. So you help somebody else out, and it's a child, and you're passed out. Guess what? You're no good to anybody after that, because how are you going to help the child? Obviously, we're in this precarious situation here up in the sky. What happens when we crash? Who's not going to take care of the kid because you passed out because you decided not to put on your oxygen mask? So, a really good point. So God, so how, the way that Andreas has it, he says God, then himself, then his role as a husband, and then a father, and then it comes job. And so he prioritizes what's going on in his day based on that. So then, do you kind of use the old method from Stephen Covey, like you have like your rocks, if you will, in the bucket. So those, so since like, hey, I'm going to make sure that I read my scriptures, I'm going to say my prayers, and then make sure that I have time for my wife, like full engaged time, and then make sure that I have time for my kids. And so you kind of can block everything else in around that. Is that kind of how you do it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're flexible just based on what's happening, right? Or maybe it's attention, right? It's attention. So you get home and one of your sons has a concert or a soccer, a soccer match, and now they get 2 hours of your time. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm writing out your change in address. So I'm writing out his quote that you put on. Just it's great that when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to many other things. That's a really really good point. I like that. Hey, hey, it's okay. You said it here today, buddy. That's all that matters. We don't do. I don't need to go find the author. Okay, person's probably dead. I don't think Gandhi or Mother Teresa is going to care if you've used their quotes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at that legacy. He's rocking his Gary V. Let me stay there. Let me show the Instagram peeps so they can see your legacy over currency T-shirt, the Gary V T. There we go. That's better. That's a little more clear. All right. What do you? All right. Perfect. Yeah. Yep. The minimalist role. I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I think it was the 40s today. So that it felt warm. Just by the way, just so you know, that's just how we are. So I'm just pinning up on so the Instagram feed. I'm just pinning up your quote. When you say yes to one thing, you say no to other things. All right, I misspelled two, but people will figure it out. They'll get it. Okay, that sounds boring. Kind of assuming it probably is for most people. Okay, it's perfect. So what I'm going to do is then our next question then, and this is going to just it's going to shift from the daily conversation to something that's a little bit more weekly. Is what what do you use to plan your week outside of the mastery journal that you were talking about? Think of it. Let's talk about tools first, and then let's talk about like maybe what you might do from a so, for example, you probably have church at a specific time. So, if you put it into Google Calendar, hey, let's repeat this for the next year, right? So then I know that's blocked into my calendar, and that's going to go forward. So it might be something that you do just from a kind of ritual. Like so, for example, Monday nights, um, 95% of the time are family nights. So what my wife and I will do is we'll have a little bit of a lesson, talk about us being as a family, and then we'll play like a little activity. So typically we try to avoid TV. So typically we'll play like board games. We'll maybe go to the gym, play some tag or something. And then Tuesday night I reserve for that's date night. So then my wife and I we put the boys down, and the oldest is quote unquote in charge. He's 12, so in the state of Wisconsin that's fine. But they're sleeping, right? So typically she and I will either just hang out and just chat. We'll go catch a movie. Just it's just one-on-one time. So yeah, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. 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 They do. They do. Yep. Yeah. Gotcha, gotcha. So it sounds like a lot of times throughout your week, you basically almost have like a theme for the day, if you will, to a certain extent, right? Obviously, things are get flexible and change, but like so the way that Andre was describing it is, you have basically family and God on a specific day. Sunday's relatively easy after you go to church, and it's just fam time, right? But then even on Friday, from a business perspective, you have it more of a flex day, maybe catching up administratively with things that maybe weren't necessarily a priority throughout the week, but you finally get to it here on a Friday. Do you find that you use Friday to plan for your upcoming week, Andreas? Okay. Yes, yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's that old adage: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So you definitely we have to do things in order to make sure that we're setting up our days and our weeks ahead of time, right? We end up running basically like fire method, right? Whatever's coming in front of us, we basically take care of, and we may not be doing the most important things. It reminds me of the quadrant that Stephen R. Covey talks about in his book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, that you have important, not urgent, and then you have, important, not important, urgent, not urgent, and then we end up if you only play in important and urgent, you're only putting out fires on a daily basis. You're never doing the important, not urgent things that eventually come up. So, hold on just 1 second. I need a bio break. Okay, we're back. Let's see. Uh, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you came on time. So I really like the strategy of being able to have this theme, if you will, right, of your day. I think that's really important to kind of look at. Okay, because as well, you have a little bit of a side hustle, right, Andreas, that you're building out your own business, right? And so you basically have to build that in your week, or else next thing that goes by, you haven't done anything on your side gig, right? Okay.